Hello, friends. Welcome to Communication Skills for Everyone. Today, let us learn the poem 3 Years She Grew in Sun and Shower by Williams Wordsworth. So, this poem, 3 Years She Grew in Sun and Shower, was composed by the great nature poet William Wordsworth in 1799 in Germany. So, this was initially published in the Lyrical Ballads in 1800. So, Wordsworth wrote about 5 poems on Lucy. So, it was one of the most popular poems in his collection of Lucy poems. Lucy is a lovely creation of nature. So, the poet expresses his feelings for nature in an impressive manner. So, here the poet according to poet feels that nature can bring up a child better than human beings. So in this poem, Lucy, a girl child, she lives in the lap of nature completely for 3 years. So where nature guides her very well in her natural atmosphere. Lucy is very happy in the company of nature and its objects. So she learns many things from natural objects like flowers, grass, leaves, clouds, and even storms. Right, this goes on. So Lucy becomes a healthy and lovely lady in the natural surroundings of the nature. So she dies very soon at a very young age. So the poet is very sad about the death of Lucy. So the poet is very disappointed to remember her memories. The poet feels his feelings after the death of Lucy. So this particular poem describes how nature brings up Lucy in a natural way. Let us look at the stanza 1. So according to the poet in the stanza 1, Lucy was brought up by nature. So here 3 years she grew in sun and shower, then nature said, a lovelier flower on earth was never sown. This child I to myself will take, she shall be mine, and I will make a lady of my own. So here Lucy enjoyed in the lap of nature completely. So after spending 3 years in sun and shower, nature compares Lucy to the loveliest flower on the earth. Lucy seems to nature very charming like a beautiful flower. So nature decides to adopt Lucy and bring up. Nature wants to bring up Lucy according to her own manner. She wants to make Lucy cultured and disciplined like her. So we know that nature is a disciplined, it goes according to time. In the same fashion, she wants to make the Lucy also. So in the stanza, myself will to my darling be, both law and impulse, and with me, the girl in rock and plain, in earth and heaven, in glade and bower, shall feel an overseeing power to kindle or restrain. So the stanza 2 talks about nature. So nature cares for Lucy wherever she goes in the hill areas, the plains, on the earth, or in the sky. Because here nature has adopted. That's what she's worried, or maybe she takes care of the Lucy. She goes with her everywhere to take care of her. That's what nature always guides her in our works, and it also stimulates our energies. She always inspires her to have noble thoughts. So she, third stanza, she shall be sportive as the fawn that wild with glee across the lawn or up the mountain springs, and hers shall be the breathing balm, and hers the silence and the calm of mute insensate things. So third stanza, according to the poet, so nature always will guide so Lucy to keep her on the right path, right way. So Lucy also feels happy like a young deer who jumps and plays in the grassy land. So here also she likes nature. She will also enjoy the company of nature and its objects. So Lucy will be calm in the peaceful atmosphere of nature. She will feel, she will express the fragrance of the flowers. So that the fourth stanza, the floating clouds their state shall lend to her, for her the willow bend, nor shall she fail to see, even in the motions of the storm, grace that shall mold the maiden's form by silent sympathy. So here there's a particular stanza, fourth stanza, right? This year, poet also talks about nature. Nature will teach Lucy important lessons of life. She will teach, the nature will teach Lucy the qualities of a nature. Lucy will learn the value of freedom from the free movements of clouds. So the clouds move freely, so it indicates like a kind of freedom. She will learn softness and flexibility, right? This is from the trees, willow trees. She will also learn from fearful storms to live in a graceful manner. Because looking at the storms, she understands how gracefully can live. In fact, she will learn from nature to be calm and peaceful in every situation of life. Like nature, once we observe the nature, it is peaceful and silent and calm. So that's what nature will teach Lucy according to her own way of teaching. That's what it talks about, that the stars of my midnight shall be dear to her, and she shall lean her ear in many a secret place, where rivulets dance their wayward round, and beauty born of murmuring sound shall pass into her face. The fifth stanza, according to Wordsworth, the shining stars of midnight surely will attract Lucy towards them. She will be attracted towards the small rivers after listening to their sweet sounds. Nature believes that the face of Lucy will shine after hearing the murmuring sound of small rivers. Her personality will be charming and graceful. So, when we move to the sixth stanza, and vital feelings of delight shall rear her form to stately height. Her virgin bosom swell. Such thoughts to Lucy I will give, while she and I together live here in this happy dell. So, according to the poet, in the sixth stanza, right, the company of nature, Lucy will grow and transform into a graceful figure. She will be transformed into a beautiful lady or beautiful woman. Her heart will be filled with joy and happiness. Nature will teach her according to her own way. She will fill her heart with noble and cheerful thoughts under the education of nature. So, Lucy will grow in a beautiful and graceful personality. So when we move to the next stanza, thus nature spake, the work was done. How soon my Lucy's race was run. She died and left to me this hate, this calm and quiet scene, the memory of what has been and never more will be. So the final and seventh stanza focuses the author here, the poet here. Nature has turned Lucy into a graceful woman, as she said, but she did not. She didn't know that Lucy would die very soon. Lucy died at very young age, so Lucy left nature alone. So when they were together, they grown up together. But nature is also very sad to think that Lucy will never come again. Thus, the poet is also sad about the death of Lucy. Is the summary of the poem. Thank you for watching. Subscribe Communication Skills for everyone.